What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, bringing you the latest and greatest in controversy and starting a place where we can talk about it and discuss it in a very civil fashion and get some thought going. And one is on the National Lunch Program in America. Now, here's the deal. I have children, okay? And they go to school, and sometimes Thomas, I think he's okay with getting the lunches at school. Now, realize the National Lunch Program was put in place. One, kids can buy it if they, if their parents don't have time to make lunch, whatever. Kids can go buy it. They had a system where you have a credit built up so the kids don't have to carry cash or anything to school. I believe when I was a kid, we had to carry cash to school. I can't remember because I'm too freaking old, and I forgot how long ago it was. And so the school lunch program was put in place, honestly, to help kids who couldn't get lunch, who didn't eat enough. They had a breakfast program and a lunch program. And so, they had that in place. And then Michelle Obama, and when Barack got elected, President Obama, I'm like talking like he's my boy, my man Barack. And I'd love to have a beer with Barack Obama. I'm not the biggest Obama supporter. In fact, whatever, we're not on that right now. But I'd love to just sit down. He seems like a very interesting, awesome guy to hang out with. And, a lot of people might want to hang out with me, but think that my views are pretty bad too. So look, we all have different ways of thinking, and that's why there's multiple viewpoints. But here's the deal with school lunches. They came in, and they're like, hey, we're feeding our kids absolute crap. We are just giving them just nasty, saturated fat, sodium-laden foods that are just completely not good for these kids to eat. And what I'm looking at right now is articles and data that I pulled up on the issues. And one issue is, well, for the kids who are, we're looking at a whole systemic issue with school lunches. One is that we're seeing people not making enough money to support their kids or not having time to make lunches. And that's the breakdown of the American family unit. It's also the fact that taxes and programs are so high. It costs so much to live nowadays that you don't have Leave It to Beaver where the guy goes to work or the girl goes to work and the other one stays at home raising the kids or doing whatever. Now both parents have to work in order to basically make it happen. I'm fortunate enough where my wife does. Well, I travel a lot, but my wife does. Until Preston, she's a stay-at-home mom now. Once Preston goes to school, she'll do what she did at my old company, and that's handle a lot of the marketing and a lot of the other stuff I do within the company at Tiger Fitness and MTS Nutrition. So the breakdown of the American family unit, one is that people aren't making their kids healthy lunches. Back in the day, yeah, they didn't have any idea what protein, carbs, and fat were. Back when we were talking about Leave It to Beaver, but they gave them whole home-cooked meals, or they gave them a good sandwich. Peanut butter jelly is a very good friggin' sandwich to have. That's what we're looking at. So the Obamas came in and they said, look, we need to have a fruit and a vegetable, okay? Now, the problem with that is it's still a little bit stupid because French fries count as a vegetable. Potatoes are vegetables. It's kind of like when you live in the South, macaroni and cheese is a vegetable option when you go to the barbecue place. So I think they got that one from the South. I really do. So fries are, but for the most part, it recommends whole grain things. The one thing that I don't see necessary is they have these sodium requirements. Kids are generally not going to be hypertensive. And I think that's just going by misinformation given by a lot of stupid doctors who don't understand how sodium works. And usually kids should be, even though they're lazy and obese right now, running around sweating where they're actually lacking sodium in their diet and they could use it. So, and that's one of the main issues is what they have is they have these guidelines set forth for school year 2013, school year 2014, school year 2015, where they're, okay, we need the sodium to be reduced. And the problem is making these foods taste palatable to these kids. A lot of them who are, I believe it's about 60%. I believe, I don't know the exact ratio, but a lot of these kids, I'd say at least 40, are getting highly reduced cost or free lunches. And my opinion's always been, and I'll get to this, if it's free, stop complaining. And one of the arguments I read by a conservative newspaper, which I've been reading on this today, is that, well, if the kids don't eat, that might be the only chance they have to eat all day. They won't eat. If you have no food at home and you turn down an apple or a low sodium meal, you kind of deserve to go hungry. I'm just saying, I know it's a kid, but dude, if my boy came home and said, I haven't eaten for 2 days because I had to eat an apple, and if you're starving, you're going to eat. And here's the thing. If you're getting a government handout and the government's trying to do its best for you, I remember I go around and I'll go to like events like, I'm trying to think like kids baseball games, and they're bringing donuts in the morning for the kids. I'm like, this is supposed to be an athletic event for children. Why are we feeding them crap? Same goes with school. We're supposed to be teaching them and breeding children who are healthy and who are active and who can think. And those kind of foods, the kind of foods that were being served in cafeterias, were complete garbage, and I'm against them. So I'm all for, if we're going to put money towards anything as a nation, and we don't privatize schools, and we don't offer vouchers, which is one option I think we should look into as a country. But let's say we never do. Hell, we need to spend money on the best kind of foods, because as we saw in the movie Super Size Me, when they do those experiments where they give kids the healthier foods, they perform better, they score better on tests, and they behave better because their body's not going through these ups and downs in insulin and all these crashes. And I'm a big fan of you are what you eat. You put it, you get out what you put in. And if you put in good food, you're going to react better, you're going to act better, you're going to be healthier. And by having a fruit and a whole grain option, I don't see anything wrong with that. And so the issue is saying schools can't afford it and they're taking money out of their budgets, and because kids don't like it, they're not getting, it's basically a business, so they're not profiting as much from the kids who do pay full price for the lunch. They're not profiting as much because not as many kids are getting lunch. And that means they get less money from the government, so the schools are actually operating in a deficit at some points. And to that I say there's a complete fundamental issue when you have a government program that's meant to feed hungry kids and you're worried about running in a profitable state rather than in a deficit, a surplus versus a deficit. So I think the whole system is messed up for that matter if we're worried about making a profit off of kids buying lunch at school. So one of the things is they're seeing kids throwing these foods away. They're seeing yogurt in the trash. They're seeing low sodium hot dogs in the trash. And another thing is the foods that do taste good, that are low sodium, they cost more. So the school's having to put more money in their food. It comes down to basic margins, and maybe the kids are learning about economics. But the problem is, the fundamental issue is that we have some entitled bastard-ass kids who, even though they're hungry, refuse to eat healthy, whole, natural foods. Now, if I'm broke, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to eat what it gives you. So if you're in a government program and what the government gives you isn't good enough, maybe the parents need to sit down with the kids and tell them, look, I can't afford to feed you. Maybe you should eat that lunch that the government, that my tax dollars go towards paying for you. And that's Darwinism in my opinion. I mean, let's be real here. If a kid is hungry and won't eat because something doesn't taste significantly yummy, that's free. Look, I'm not a greedy beggar. There's some times in my life that I've had to succumb to eating not so great tasting foods because of my budget. So, I mean, let's be real here. You're not really getting my sympathy. So in essence, I just want to start dialogue in what your opinion is. I believe that if you go to school and if the government is providing something, I think not only are you setting forth healthy long-term goals, healthy long-term eating habits for these children, but you're also giving an opportunity to learn more because they're eating healthier foods, they're healthier, they're going to miss less school. And realize when the kids miss less school, the school gets more money because they get paid based on the attendance the kids get in school. So let's be real here. Why do you think they give perfect attendance awards? I always had a joke that if your kid gets perfect attendance and doesn't make honor roll, he's stupid because he was there every day and he still couldn't do it. Sorry. For those of you who have kids on the perfect attendance list who do not have honor roll, my apologies. I'm very fortunate. Our kids get packed lunch. We pack them healthy lunch every day. They have a thermos. We'll give them a high protein meal. We'll give them a healthy sandwich. We'll give them a lot of different options. Cammy will take pasta with, low-fat ground beef, and a lot of kids do the same. But I happen to live in an area with, in our school district is public schools. I do send my kids to public schools. I'm a product of the public school system, but I do see flaws within the system, which is why if you talk to me, I'm all about vouchers because I know some people who send kids to private schools. I know some people who will never have kids, yet they're still paying into education system they will never use. When if you have kids and if you use those vouchers, it'll go towards private business, which in turn will grow private business. And let's be real here. Private enterprise, private business does operate more efficiently and better than government, which has bogged down bureaucracy and unions. And I'm sorry for those people working unions, but the teachers union has, I have a lot of issues with anybody who's raising my kids being subjective. And when one of the biggest supporters of the Democratic Democratic Party in California is the teachers union, that makes me wonder, what am I being taught in schools? In California, I'll tell you what, my teachers were outright liberal, which is fine. I'm not Democrat nor am I Republican, but they were to the point where they were pro-socialism. They were actually pro-communism in some places. They were anti-white as white people, which really just baffled me. And in economics class, I watched a Michael Moore movie, which made no sense to me because we didn't watch anything to counter that. But that's besides the point. So I'm actually going to side with Michelle and Barack Obama. I'm going to side with the school lunch program, because if we're going to give the kids food, if we're going to use our tax dollars that we're working hard to give these kids food, and Michelle, she's always been into fitness, but let's be real here, they're not depriving kids of anything. You can still pack a lunch. You still have that option. It's for kids it was designed for kids who are less fortunate. Okay, it was designed for kids who are less fortunate to have a healthy meal. And if you're going to provide a healthy meal, provide a damn healthy meal. If we're going to want to if we want our kids to learn, we need to feed them right. We need to give them the proper fuel. Did I just side with Barack Obama and give a whole speech on privatizing schools? Yes, I did. That's the thing. I'm more of a libertarian leaning guy. But I can see things from both sides. I would never want to be a Republican or a Democrat and say, I'll only vote this way. I think that's the worst thing you can be, because there's a lot of Republicans out there that I think are absolutely stupid. And there's a lot of liberals and Democrats out there that I think are just as stupid. They're not stupider. They're both equally stupid, in my opinion. And there's different sects there's different people in each group. Like you have I forgot what it's even called. You have the Rhino Republicans, which are Democrat Republicans. You have the conservative Republicans. You have the Tea Party conservatives. And then you got the liberal Democrats, what is that middle of the road? The moderate Democrats, Southern Democrats, which were the people who were for slavery. I don't even know what there is anymore. Do parties even exist, or is it just one big group of idiots who are power hungry, putting fluoride in our water, running our country? Vote Ron Paul. Ron Paul, please run again. And hopefully your son Rand is half the guy you are if he runs. Guys, I appreciate watching this. So my thing is, let's comment down below. Let's keep all the bashing of political parties. Let's keep that. It's not going to solve anything. Saying that Bush couldn't find weapons of mass destruction, saying that Obama's, a terrorist or whatever people say now. I've seen some mean things on, you look at the comments on Fox News. It's like, oh my God, why even go there? He's not. If he is, we don't have proof. Jeez, he's our president now. You don't say shit like that. So that's the thing. What is your opinion on the school lunch program? As a health conscious parent, who realized the origination of the program was to provide healthy food for our children, I'm not going to be against it. I'm Marc Lobliner. TigerFitness.com. You know what? I look at kids, they're all individuals, They're not just a number, and that's how we do business at Tiger Fitness. I mean, that's how I look at my whole life. These are kids. We want them to grow up. It's not just 50 kids went hungry, 50 kids ate malnourished foods that was provided by the government. No, these kids are more than that. And so we want to look at them all as individuals. And if the government's going to provide something that we pay for as taxpayers, if we're going to pay for anything, if it's 5 or 10% more, give an apple instead of a cracker. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, where you're more than just a number. And not being just a number, that's not a game.